Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to open the second day of the General Assembly of CMEMS, more dedicated to the achievement of CMEMS in Copernicus 1, achievement related to the central system information for the delivery of the CMEMS products, but also regarding the user supports with the CMEMS service desk and service management, but also training and outreach activities. And of course, during this day, we also be able to discuss about the CMEMS service evolution. I will share my screen now to remind you the agenda of the day. So we will start first with the Central Information System presentations by Gabriel Garciarino from Mercator and focus on the dissemination units. Then there will be two live demonstrations during this session, one regarding the marine data store exploration, and the other one on the product visualization. And of course, we also, as I said before, will be talking about user support and service management, training activities, digital communication and outreach. I'll remind you that during this session, you will be able to ask questions, and this question will be answered during the Q&A session. So I leave the floor now to Gabriel for the first presentation of this day. Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so good morning. I'm Gabriel Garciarino, and I'm working at Mercator Océan, and I'm the head of the Central Information System. My presentation will be more of a general introduction of today's session, and will not focus too deeply on the IT stuff, but will be more an overview of the Central Information System activities. And then Vega Forneris will continue on the dissemination unit. So the general plan, I already said it. So general context. So we have production units all over Europe. They are represented on the map by red dots. Those production units generate the data that are offered to users by the CMEMS service. So this is the meat of the service. And then there are the central information system, which answers where and what is available. So it's a description of the products. And then there is a dissemination unit, where you actually download the data. So a little bit of history. So before CMEMS, there was a project called MyOcean, and CMEMS inherited from it. At that time, at the beginning of CMEMS in 2015, each production center, so a regroupment of production units, also had dissemination units. So there were lots of dissemination units all over Europe, 15, something like that. And the downloaded volume data at the beginning of CMEMS was not that high, but over the first 3 years, it has increased quite a lot, a growth of 100% per year. And we begin to see that dissemination performances were not the same between all dissemination units. So users were telling us that they need a better overall quality of service. So we try to answer that, and actually answered it with a centralized dissemination unit on the cloud. So this is the now yellow point on the map. And the data volume continued to increase up to today. So the dissemination unit activities will be presented by Vega just after me. So for the main picture, you have the production unit, PU, on my schema. that are sending data to the DU dissemination unit. And you, as users, you can download the data through FTP or HTTP, but you don't know how and where to get those DU links. So there is the central information system. So this is this big rectangle with a lot of system in it. So there are websites, there is a catalog which describes all the products. So we also called it metadata. And then there is different tools for authentication and monitoring and user management. Just one exception, for the websites, the forum editorial and quality Calval ones are not in charge, are not handled by the central information system, but by other teams. So what are the main activities of the central information system? Of course, operate and maintain all those blocks, provide support for users and CMM's teams, and also implement changes to fit the user's needs and service needs. So I will go now on the operations side. So these are metrics of the availability of the systems. In red is the target, and in blue is the actual number. So all systems are well above the target. So on operations, we were quite good during those years. And in the next slide, I will explain you that despite the fact that CMMS has evolved a lot, you can see on this graph the evolution of changes, incident, and maintenance that occurred during the whole period, and it has grown a lot. So despite that, operation was steady, and we were able to update 25 times the catalog. In terms of evolutions, so mainly focused on the web portal, which is the side users see, there has been 20 updates. And after 2019, we decided to rewrite from scratch some parts because a lot of it was legacy code from MyOcean, and we needed to improve development pipelines to have quicker developments and also increase the user experience, because as I will show you in the next two slides, there were some issues with the user interface we had. So first example, the old viewer where you can see the data. So it had fixed dimensions that were quite small. So this is the one on the left. And now we have put into service in summer 2020 the new one. The portal also had issue. It was with fixed dimensions. So this is still the current one. And this quarter, hopefully next month, there will be a new web portal with two versions, one for mobile and one for desktop. So this is the right part of the screen. So it's already time for me to conclude. So as CMMS is a user-driven service, we will continue to monitor and assess the fit for purpose of the central information system. All the growth of users and CMMS offer products have changed over the years, has been handled successfully, high availability and all products available all the time. And beginning from this year, we will see a new way of shipping our evolution in the web portal and also on the hidden stuff, beginning next month, this quarter, with a new data web portal. That's it for me. Vega, I let the floor to you.
Good morning, everyone. In this presentation, we are going to share with you some information about the centralized dissemination unit, focusing, as already anticipated by Gabriel, not on the more IT technical details, but more on the process we undertaken for providing the access to this amount of data that increased so quickly in the last years. So we are going to make a quick recap of the real tasks of the dissemination unit, and we will share with you some of the evolution we implemented over these years. So the centralized dissemination unit needs to set up and maintain the infrastructure for the integration and the operation. We basically collect the products from the production unit and provide access via different HTTP and FTP interfaces to the users. Moreover, we ensure and monitor the operation related to the collection and the dissemination through monitoring system, dashboard, and so on. Moreover, we aimed to provide a service continuity compared to the first phase of CMEMS, where, as anticipated, that there were more dissemination units. We consolidated the contact points and resources. We provide flexible and scalable and I hope robust dissemination unit systems. We basically improved the operational level and set up key indicators dashboards. And this is an aspect I personally care of. We try to fill the gap between science and technology, trying to support producers and Mercator in defining the best approaches and procedures from the more IT and procedural point of view. Our consortium is basically an Italian and French consortium, well defined. So let me introduce you that the introduction of the centralized dissemination unit has been one of the most technically impacting a challenging evolution of CMEMS Phase 2. Not only for the dissemination unit itself, of course, but also for producers who had to adapt to new procedures and mechanisms. At the time, the schedule was very tight for allowing a smooth transition from phase 1 to phase 2. The system was pretty complex. So we had to adapt really quickly. We had to find some very flexible way to adapt as quick as possible to the change we have been asked since the very first time. So we adopted a service-oriented approach, basically splitting all the system in very well-defined components and interfaces. So since the very first release in the first quarter 2018, at each new release or each major change for the top level, for example, the portal or even the product itself, we constantly reviewed in our internal processing. We adapted, we plan, develop, integrate, maintain in a continuous cycle. And we apply this process to basically every single aspect that we can do. Of course, the infrastructure, the main infrastructure has been revisited, redesigned in a few occasions. The software itself being analyzed and upgraded for functional upgrades or bug fixes, for example. We reviewed internally also the consortium, and we increased the collaboration with all the actors in CMEMS, the top level and the producers. Over the months, the dissemination unit team constantly reviewed and updated the architecture design. I want to share with you some evolutions we undertook for the infrastructure part. We worked very hard on the back end for the connectivity, the number of systems behind the single point of access. We increased the quality of components such as the disks, for example. We try to rebalance and redistributing the products among the backend based on the user's access and the number of transactions. We added and improved the development system that cannot impact the operational side. We worked on a backup system that at the moment works in an asynchronous mode. And as I will share in my last presentation, my slide, we are implementing new evolution for asynchronous backup. We added also what's called a PU playground system, a method that a system can that allow production unit to test their upload mechanism that during or even outside a new release. And we constantly add new monitoring system and improve our dashboard for being more, for having better snapshot of what happens on the system from different point of view. The base operation system, of course, but also the interfaces, the transactions, and so on. So basically, we increase all the resources since the very first setup. For example, from the initial 58 system to a total of 93 different systems, 656 cores, and more than 2 petabytes of RAM. And not all the evolutions we consider that have been implemented for several reasons. We worked also on the pure external interface software, the software that users access for downloading the data. You may remember that one of the most complex interfaces is the subsetter, a software that can allow you to subset a time series in terms of geographical coverage or time coverage. That's provided by the Motu software. And over the years, we tested, implemented several new releases, and they were mainly for bug fixes, but we also tried to include some more functional aspects. We work on a delivery buffer service. That's something that it's transparent for the users, but it's critical for the producers. It's basically the system that accepts new data and move the data into the operative system. We also enhanced all the activities, all the actions a producer can do or his own time series. We also studied new interfaces. For example, we are ready to implement AirDAP. That's very related to the in situ, for the in situ product, as Oceanotron, as you may remember, ended its life maintenance cycle. The consortium itself has been constantly internally reviewed. New personnel have been added or substituted. We defined new roles. We increased the consortium partnership, adding a new partner, more focus on the development part. We reinforce our internal agreement, for example, with CLS, with the group that maintain and develop Motu. Basically, every single internal procedure with a specific reference to the test procedure. We try to go also beyond our initial tasks. So we increased the collaboration with the Motu developers, asking for some specific function for being more Siemens compliant, let's call it. We increased the collaboration with the top level, with Mercator, for supporting the definition of new procedures. For example, the tag approach is a mechanism that can support production unit tasks, and that could make easier for producers to have access to this big catalog. We increased the collaboration with producers itself, and we also work on the integration of new data type. But more important from my point of view, we promoted and we are coordinating a technical working group, something similar to the product quality group, but focused on the sharing of technical solution, best practices. It's a constant exchange, trying to define some standards in terms of format and IT more related information. So after this quick presentation, I want to reinforce the concept that both the near real-time and the multi-year dissemination unit evolved a lot since the very first implementation. The systems are being constantly reanalyzed, reevaluated under every single aspect that we can. And we face new challenges at every new release. The strong point that Siemens shared, for example, just in yesterday's presentation, the continuous increase on data quality, the increasing the number of the offer, it has a direct impact on the backends, on the dissemination unit, and the team is ready to continue to reevaluate, reanalyze all the systems. So we are ready to introduce some latest changes in the next months. More notably for the users, we are going to introduce the SSL over HTTP in the next months. We are going to add a new interfaces such as AirDAP, and we are going to improve also the dissemination, the disaster recovery system. And I guess that's all for me. And thanks to all for the attention.
Thank you, Vega. Now I will leave the floor to David for the first live demo of this session. David, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Michelle. So hi, everybody. I'm David from Consortium International, and I'm going to present to you, I'm going to perform a very quick demo. So I would like first to share my screen with you. And I'm going to remove this. Yeah, so basically within the next 7 minutes, I'm going to present a different kind of user profile. Usually I ask in the audience what is the most common profile so that I can adapt the talk. But anyway, let's pretend that we have 4 different kinds of users. First, the end users, like citizens of the world, like you and me, for example. And then we will focus on the path for the developers. So people that write a line of codes in a black screen. Then we will see for the data provider, what's in for them in the Copernicus Marine Data Store. And we will have a quick view or so and interest for the service provider. That being said, I should switch now to a real quick demo, which means that I'm going to do some clicks and not switch the slides. So for example, if we start with the end users, I forgot to put the chrono. So if we start, yes, with the end users, such as citizens or maybe the policymakers. Okay, there's 2 data store subsets that you're interested in, which could be the ocean state report and the ocean monitoring indicators. I'm running out of time. Actually, the 7 minutes are going to be very fast, so I will just have a quick look of the ocean monitoring indicators. From here, you will have different trends that you will also get from the ocean state report. But here, for example, if you need to make sure something about the policy of the pH, you have here already fit for purpose and ready to use graphic and charts. And of course, if you need to have more information, there is a button here which will redirect you to the catalog application, which we are going to see in a few minutes in more details. But anyhow, you have plenty of information by following their, by descending into the different applications. So we talked about the ocean monitoring indicators that for policymakers are very useful. And if we talk now about the end users, such as really you and me, looking at, interesting in seeing maybe how the Earth and the ocean are the health of the ocean, and maybe not to check what is the temperature for the next journey on the beach, because crisis is not something that will allow us. But anyway, this part, the first on the left, which is data ocean products, is a boxes of our interest, and also the last one, the exploration ocean visualization, which is going to be presented by a colleague of mine, Guillermo, in a few minutes later on in the morning. So let's focus on the first boxes, the subset catalog. of the Copernicus Marine Data Store. So as Gabrielle said previously this morning, this application is going to be redesigned, but the structure is going to be more or less the same. I will, if I have time, I will give you briefly a short view in a few minutes. Anyway, so let's say that we're interested into, the filters are already done. We want to check the cyclone storm Ruanu, which happens in 2016 over in nearby India. So I select here in the regional domain, the global ocean. Then from the parameters, I'm going to select the sea surface wave. And of course, I make a quick break. You're really recommended and invited to post your question into the question and answer, let's say, buttons that you have at the bottom of your screen, so that we can further exchange about the real question of your interest. So I was saying that we have now selected the product of our interest, the global wave, to check the storm Ruanu, which happens in 2016. So I'm going to add it to the cart. I could use different shortcut here to view the product. It's pretty convenient to have a quick look before doing any downloading of the data. So we're going to actually check something, because we said it was in 2016 in May. So let's go to 2016 May to check if we have some kind of signature. Something that should be enough. So we said it was, around India. So we go over there. And we're going also to use actually the viewer to enable us to get the geographical subset, because let's say that we want to inform our children about what happened in the past. So we want to create a nice picture. And so we will make sure that we do not retrieve too many data. So we are going to focus on this, let's say, subset here. So we have the signature here, so we are fine. We can also check that maybe we will go until the 22. It should pass, yes. So we are going to focus on the 19, the 18 to the 21. So I'm going to split the view quickly here. Okay. So I'm sorry about this. So now I'm going to click on the download, because I would like, as we said, subset, so data. In your mind. So we arrived in the subsetting capabilities, and here I'm going to input what we see here. So for the longitude, maybe I'm going to input just 72. For the longitude maximum, I'm going to put 20. Here I'm going to put false. And for the north latitude, I'm going to input 25. I have here the geographical area. Then we selected a specific date, which was something like this. And we're going to do the same here. And I see that I'm running, so I'm going to be much faster at the completion. Okay, here I uncheck the different variables. I'm going to just focus on the spectral significant wave height. And here, because I'm the end users, I'm going to just click on download. There were two buttons. One is the download options, which is for the view of their developers, so another profile of users. And we have also here, of course, the processing that is done. And now I'm going to just quickly, because I have to conclude, check this file, because we downloaded something, but what is inside. So basically, I go to my download folder over there, yeah, and I see that I have different files. So I'm going to open one of the software that is very, let's say, comfortable for beginners. And for example, here, for any question that you have today, it's the question and answer at the bottom of your screen. But later on, in the next days, when you come back to the website, we recommend you to chat either with us or to try to find your answers on your own if you're a bit shy, or if you need something like more than quick and it's 2 a.m. and there is no one to answer it. So for example, if I type in how to manipulate, here we are talking about NetCDFI, NetCDFI, for example, I should have an answer. And of course there is one, even more. And there is typically one talking about the file formats. So you have a videos made by a colleague of mine and different links that show you the different softwares that you can use and the different capabilities. And if you click on another article, for example, that one, which is pretty much what I'm talking to you right now. So feel free to get take the time, I mean, to go through. I talked about the software, which is Panoply. So it opened a few minutes ago here, and you have everything that is explained here. So it might worth checking it out. So let's open the file that we just downloaded. So we talked about the spectral significant wave height. It's what we have right now. So we have the longitude, the latitude, and also the time. We selected several time steps, let's say hours, because it's an hourly data set. So we can see that we have, of course, not just one, but 41 times. And if I double click on the spectrum, you can select the first item of the modal view. And I'm going to finish on that. So I can, for example, do a quick zoom, and I can, of course, show to my children that there was an impact of this cyclone. So I can move to the right and obviously say that it actually happens more or less around the, oops, I lost it. It was the 29. 29 and about 6. Anyway, I will encourage you. So first to the question in the question and answer specific button at the bottom of your screen. And later on, if you have more questions, feel free to connect with us and to ask your question directly here, so that you have working example and a guided tutorial to do what I've done right now. I thank you very much for your attention, and I see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. And now we'll move to the next presentation on user support and service management with Cedric and Anna. So I give you the floor.
Good morning, I'm Anne de la Marche. I am member of the Copernicus Marine Service Management team in Mercator Ocean International. And I will present you the service offer that we manage, and Cedric Giordan, the service desk manager, will present how we ensure the support user. So in next slide, we can see a very nice picture on the evolution of the user registered and the user that downloaded data in the Copernicus Marine Service over the years. These numbers regularly increase, and it's very nice. And one thing it's important to remind is that this service is open to anyone. So you can be anyone, and no need to be a scientist or a politician or etc. And what is important also to know is that you need to be registered in this service if you want to download products. And it's free of charge, of course. And it's very important for us, this registration, because we can provide a strong support to the user when there are evolutions or incidents on the products they are regularly uploading. So in the next slide, we have one of our service management main activity is related to the products that we are providing, the marine products. Well, this slide is a reminder. You have already seen this, but it's important to repeat it. These products are covering the global ocean and all the European basins, and you can see in the map. we have three kinds of products. We have products that are made from in situ platform data. We have products that are made from satellite observations data, as sea level, sea surface temperature, ocean color, wind, etc. And we have also modeling products. And these products are described through physical and biochemical variables. The physical are the blue and white variables, and the biochemical are the green variables. And we have multi-year products that are covering long time series, and some of them more than 25 years. We have real-time products that include for the modeling products 10 days of forecast. And we have also trends on the different variables. So in the next slide, I will be quick on it. It's the main marine variables that we are managing in our products. We are the physical, and we can see the current, the temperature, and salinity. These are the blue variables, and we have also white variables as the sea ice. And we have also the biochemical variables as oxygen, primary production, and so on. So in the next slide, we can see how we can access to these products. And just David before has made a demonstration on how to access to them. So these catalogs provide to the users a nice way to have an overview on the products. And an important thing to say is the service management team has been working all these years to have an homogenization between the products to have a clear information for the users on the same, whatever the product is. And we have also had a very huge work on the homogenization in the variable names. So we have today we have two catalogs. We have the catalog of ocean products. There are 180 products at the end of December. And in these catalogs, we have also some agreements with other services, and we can also provide products from other services, as for example for OSISAF and CCI. And the second catalog that we have today, it's the catalog of ocean monitoring indicators. Yesterday, Karina has provided you information about this kind of products. So in the next slide, we can see how our service offer, and we have provided access to the products through a central information system. This system allows to the users to discover the products, to view the products, and to download the products. And regarding the downloading, we can download online, as David has just showed you. And we can also download offline through scripts. And what is important is we are monitoring this system to ensure a continuous service. And if I have a focus on the monitoring, it's a heavy task for the service management team. We have quarterly service monitoring reports that contain the KPIs on the system availability, on the product's availability, on the number of users that are downloading, the volume of data, and the number of incidents, and so on. And this allows us to keep an eye on the service and to check the health of the service and to have a steady service, and of course to continuously improve our service. So if I come back to the offer that we have, so we offer an access to the products, and to these products we have three kinds of documentation associated. The first one is the product to user manual, that is a document that is associated to any of our products, that is providing a general information on the product and detailed information on the data sets and the variables that are in this product. We have also information on quality and validation for any of our products also. So there is a document that is called the QID, the Quality Information Document, and we have also a site online that provides updated information of the quality of our products. This was detailed yesterday by Marie and Marcos. And the third document that is more related to the ocean monitoring indicators, it's the Ocean State Report. And yesterday, Karina presented you details on this document and how it's done. The two first documents, the product user manual and the quality information document, are here since the beginning. And the Ocean State Report, as Karina said yesterday, is here since 2016. So in the last slide, we can see that our service is highly appreciated by our users, because we can see that the loyalty and the seniority of them are good numbers. And all of this is possible thanks to the good quality of our products, to the good quality of our service, and also to the great job that the service desk team are doing to provide support to our users. And I let the floor to Cédric, who will detail how this support is done. Cédric?
Yes, thank you, Anne.
Thank you.
So good morning. So I'm Cédric Jordan from Mercator Ocean International, and I'm part of the Copernicus Marine User Support team. Before continuing this presentation, just a parenthesis. If you have any question on any presentation of this morning, don't hesitate to use the question and answer window of the webinar. So now I continue. So if I can, yes. So here is an overview of the activities carried out by the service desk team, from the welcoming of new users until the reporting, internal or external, and of course including the support in the use of the Copernicus marine data. I will give you more information on these activities later. The presentation of the team. So there are 5 people, so Veronique, Elena, Javier, David, and myself. To reach one goal is to optimize the user experience. So the first mission or activity is to welcome the new users. There are around 500 new subscribers per month. The validation, the registration is automatic. You will receive an automatic email with your credentials, and inside you will find useful links to begin the use of the data. You will have a link to the Getting Started page, links to the Help Center and FAQs, a link to the user notification service. To support our users, we use several means. So Help Center is available with several articles depending on the categories. Tutorials are online for beginners or advanced users, depending on the area, depending on the subject. You can access as well a forum to ask your question to the community. We support users in the frameworks of training. So Fabrice will give you later more detail later about the training. And of course, we ensure live support through email or through the chat you can reach at the bottom right of your window when you are on the website. The team will ensure the links with the experts, production experts, dissemination experts, and scientific experts. If the service desk doesn't have the answer of the question, he will contact one of the experts to have more details, and the team will find the answer. So in the structure of the Copernicus Marine Service, there are 43 different producers, 16 local service desks, and 2 dissemination units. We also inform our users depending on the operational events. So for example, for incident and maintenances, there are different means to inform the users. First of all, there is a dedicated web page. There is the user notification service with 4 different tabs. There are 1 tab for incident and 1 tab for maintenance. This article, you can subscribe. For this article, you can subscribe RSS flags depending on the filters we have set below. So the region, parameter, type, etc. And if you are a regular user of a product impacted by an incident or maintenance, you will receive a targeted email. For the improvements, as well, there are different web pages. There is an improvement tab on the user notification service, and there is as well, for medium term, a roadmap available from the user corner section. For all the releases, 2 documents are available. There is a notice, which is a sum up of the release, and a list of all the product impacted. The links to reach these documents are available on the article in the tab improvement of the user notification service. And like the maintenances and the incidents, if you are impacted by one of the product, if you are a regular user of the product impacted by the release, you will receive a targeted email. We also collect feedback using different channels, so spontaneous feedback by email, during workshop or trainings, and in the framework of periodic surveys. And after each exchange with the service desk team, you will receive a satisfaction inquiry with a free text area to specify your need or your problem or a way of improvement. We also analyze the logs, download logs of our users and the profiles. So for example, now we are more than 28,000 subscribers from more than 6,500 organizations all over the world. And last year, we had more than 80,000 downloads per month and more than 250 terabytes per month downloaded. Below, we'll find the most downloaded products. We can see that the 2 first products downloaded are the physical and global analysis and forecast and reanalysis products, and just below the sea-level L4 observation, NRT, and reprocessed products. This slide contains all the useful links, and all these sections are available on the user corner page. You will have this presentation in PDF format, so you can it will be possible to follow all the links. So I've finished. If you have any question, don't hesitate to contact us. There is a contact us page reachable from the user corner, or as David said before, don't hesitate to use the chat option at the bottom right of the web page. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cedric. Thank you, Anne. Now we move to the second demo of this session on a live demo on product visualization by Guillermo. Guillermo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everybody. I'm Guillermo Grau from Lobelia Earth, and I'm going to show you a short introduction to the Siemens MyOcean viewer. So I'm going to share my screen, just 1 second. Okay. Okay, this viewer is accessible from the CMEMS homepage under Ocean Visualization. When we first open, we see a global view of the oceans with two default layers. One from the blue ocean catalog, which is temperature, and one from the green ocean, chlorophyll. At the bottom, we have a timeline that we can use for going backward and forward in time. And we can zoom in to the time marker for more accuracy. Yeah. Similarly, we have a depth control for exploring deeper or shallower waters. So if we go back to the layer box, we see some typical functions such as toggling a layer on and off, adjusting layer opacity, removing a layer, which is quite simple. But I'd like to draw your attention to the Quick Explorer button. This allows to quickly replace a layer with another variable from the same dataset. So for instance, let's change 3D temperature for seafloor temperature, or mixed layer thickness. And as a trick, if you click on a layer while holding the Alt key in your keyboard, you'll add it to the map rather than replacing the current layer. So we can quickly add, for example, a seawater velocity layer. Now, if you watched closely, you notice that color maps change depending on the variable you choose. There are 20 different color maps in the application, most of them from the CM Ocean collection, which focuses on marine datasets. The application automatically chooses a good one, a suitable one for each variable. For instance, a symmetric color map for those variables that have symmetric ranges, such as eastward or northward seawater velocity. Then the algae, the green color map for chlorophyll, different color maps for organic and inorganic concentrations. And then there is a cyclic color map for 360-degree domains, which is interesting for some wave and wind variables which have direction dimension. Okay. So the default color map can be changed easily with the layer settings tool. Here you see the 20 color maps that I mentioned. Yeah, we can choose. We leave it with the magma one, which is a perceptually uniform color map. And we can also further fine-tune the map's colors by tweaking the range of values we want to see. So we change here, we get more contrast for some details. And as an accessibility feature, there is now a colorblind mode that automatically converts all the layers to the CVD's color map, which was designed for this kind of visual impairment. The application makes it simple to explore the data behind the map. If you click on the map, you create a pin, which shows the values of the variables in your layers and some default graphs. Here we have temperature over time and in depth, as well as a 2D graph over both dimensions. We can remove graphs or add a new one, for example, chlorophyll. And we choose the type of graph, and we click on Add Graph. And the plots are even linked to the layer settings, so we can use logarithmic or linear scale and the upgrade. We can also drag on a plot to change time and depth quite easily. And for example, we want to focus on a feature. Let's see this spike in the depth profile in the chlorophyll. And you can also drag the point itself, and all of the plots update instantly. Okay. So this graphing feature, we believe it's quite powerful. It goes beyond single points. You can also define a polygon with the lines tool by just clicking on the vertices of the polygon and let the application graph variables over distance. Here we see temperature and chlorophyll over distance. and also variables over distance and depth in 2D graphs. And we can also change the vertices and the plots update. We can also have the length of the transect there. Or you can even explore variables over an area. In this example, we have selected an ice thickness variable, which we see better in this north polar projection. If we define an area of interest with the areas tool by clicking on the vertices, let's have this polygon of the Arctic. At the end, we click on the ESC key to end, and we get a histogram of the variable of the ice thickness over the area. We can add another variable with a quick explore button, for example, snow thickness, and we can compare one variable with the other over the same area. We'll wait a while, and then we have the histogram. And then we can tweak the polygon easily, and the histograms get updated. Or we can choose logarithmic scale for any one of them. Okay, adding layers is quite simple too. With the built-in CMEMS catalog, we can search by free text or through the various facets shown here. Many users choose directly the variable they want to find, for instance, wave, sorry. But there are facets for usage or community, for area, the oceans, different oceans, for time, for source, data provider, and so on. So when we see an interesting data set, we can add it to favorites for later reference, or we can read more about it in the details page, which includes lots of useful information, as well as the raw metadata at the end. And then we can add one or several of its variables to the map. For instance, here, wave significant height. Yeah. And then we can start exploring it right away. Let's plot significant wave height next to home along the coastline. Okay. And also some time series in the southeast of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Now sharing. The application encourages sharing in different ways. To discover them, we open the layers block and click on the share button. The simplest one is a URL. So rather than sharing the long one from the browser's address bar, which encodes all the map attributes, layers, graphs, etc., the viewer gives you this tiny URL, which is more convenient. We can also create an image with exactly what we are seeing on the map, the layers and all. And we can create videos by specifying start time, stop time, and step. The application will choose a suitable video duration automatically and generates the video in MP4 or animated GIF formats. And then you can download it or share through social media, social channels. And finally, you can embed the application in other websites by just copying this little snippet of code. And the embedded viewer will have exactly the same functionalities as the main application. It will be interactive. You can, travel through time, create objects, allow the user to explore the layers that you choose. So that was all. I invite you to try the application out, even on your mobile phones, and to reach out to us and tell us how you're using it. Thank you.
Thank you, Guillermo, for this presentation. Now I will leave the floor to Fabrice, who will present the CMEMS streaming activities.
Thank you, Michel. Good morning, everyone. My name is Fabrice Messal, and I work at Mercator Ocean International. This presentation on the training activities will give you an overview of the past events and a summary of the last year activity with perspectives for this year. You will see that from the beginning, the training capacity grew up with the evolution of the service. One of the main objectives of the training activity is to increase the number of users, and the design of all training activities has been guided considering the EU member states' needs and the willingness to collaborate with local experts and the Copernicus stakeholders. Training activity is part of an effort to foster the product's use development and to collect feedback in order to improve the service. And obviously, it participates to promote the Copernicus brand. Since the beginning, we organized at least 6 training workshops per year, corresponding to the 6 European basins. And between 2015 and 2019, this event took place in a face-to-face format in 15 different member states, with a very good satisfaction rate from the attendees. The training capacity evolved thanks to the involvement of the scientific experts and with the aim of meeting participants' expectations. Last year, the plan was to organize 6 new regional workshops and with an important upgrade of our training material. We wanted to facilitate the access to practical material with the use of a Jupyter Hub platform. For those who are not familiar with this kind of environment, Jupyter Notebook is a powerful training tool to share codes and best practices to play with data. To help us, we have contracted with local marketing partners to mobilize the audience and science partners to design the content of the workshop with the help of the data producers experts. In addition, to manage the Jupyter Hub and the practical content, we have contracted with a technical partner. But we have to adapt the format to the context imposed by the pandemic, The real challenge was to prepare self-describing tutorials and find a standalone solution for the attendees. So we proposed an original full online format with 2 live webinars, and between these 2 appointments, 2 or 3 weeks of practical homework in order to let time to the participant to run the Jupyter notebooks with the help of tutorial videos. And we propose also for the first time some sessions using GIS tool. In 2020, the scientific experts from the different TAC and MFC, the service desk and the technical partner have produced 74 Jupyter notebooks and recorded 82 videos. And if you add to this the 16 video recordings of the webinar, it's around 65 hours of tutorial videos accessible on the Copernicus Marine Service YouTube channel. The audience has drastically increased in 2020 with the online format rather than face-to-face. In 1 year, we trained 1,450 attendees. And as you can see, the spatial distribution of the audience for the different workshops reflects the demand for training from people outside Europe. During and after each meeting, we propose different surveys and polls to evaluate the format, the achievement, and the material proposed. The feedback from the attendees were pretty good, with 92% of attendees who voted satisfied or very satisfied. And the most important is that the results of these assessments are very useful for us, not only to improve training activity, but also to improve the service itself. And among the frequently expectations from attendees, we find to provide practical material with R, to simplify the registration process, to improve the display of datasets information, or to propose a solution to exchange and share with experts during and after the workshops. The training activities are not resumed to the regional workshops organization. We participated also to other events organized by partner or in the frame of the Wikio activity. For example, we have been invited by IOD and the Ocean Teacher Global Academy to participate to the Train the Trainer course on tools and techniques for teaching about Copernicus. And we organized a weekly training workshop with a focus on marine data. In the past, our experts have also participated to different summer or winter schools or to different courses organized during major events such as EGU. For 2021, our main objectives are to consolidate the online training offer by giving more visibility and simplify access to the existing material, to continue collaborations and explore possible evolution of the tools and methods. About the workshops, we plan to organize 3 global workshops dedicated to Asia, South America, Africa, plus 2 thematic workshops on EU policies and business intelligence. And we will be involved in the next IOD Ocean Teacher Global Academic course with EUMETSAT and PML. And we are also preparing other courses for EGU. I would like to end my presentation by thanking all the producers and partners for their involvement in these achievements, and obviously my colleagues. And I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Fabrice. And now we'll move to the next presentation regarding digital communication and outreach. And this is the last presentation. And then after that, we will go to the question and answer session. I leave the floor to Graciane.
Hello, thank you, Michelle. My name is Graciane Quaid, and I am the Digital Communications Manager here at Mercator Ocean. So I work heavily on CMEMS. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if that is working for you. So today we have talked a lot about, this conference is really about a deep dive into the Copernicus Marine Service and all the technical aspects. So I wanted to take a minute and take a larger view, a higher view of some of the challenges of an operational service. This is a method that's often applied to climate services, but it certainly applies to our operational service. And that is to start the generation of data and expertise, the translation of this type of information. That means making it usable to different markets and users, the transfer, so that is the distribution, and then of course the use. That's the application and uptake. So communications definitely takes a central role in this chain. So of course we spend a lot of time in this conference talking about this first line, the generation. For example, ocean data, the ocean monitoring indicators, the ocean reports. But then there's also the second, the translation, and that's where a lot of our communications and marketing teams come in to, and of course, training teams as well, to create platforms and materials for the different relevant markets. And you've heard some information already about marketing from Fabrice just before, and then also Laurence Cosnier earlier. Then there's the transfer of information, and that's really where a lot of digital communications comes in, and that's the packaging and distribution of this information. So we've identified our markets, so that could be things like for scientists, for policymakers, for the general public, and then we have to make things for them. so they can better use this information, understand it. And that's done principally through our web portal. And then also through videos, interactive viewers that's been mentioned, images, infographies, articles, and the like. And then we hope that that's uptaked, that there is some uptake, and then we follow up to see the use. How are these used in different areas? And that's reported also on our web portal and through our channels, through use cases, through videos, through articles, etc. So let's take a look back at our web portal, which is one of our main tools, and how that's evolved over the years. So last year we had over 1.7 million page views per year on the CMEMS portal. And you can see that unique visits and page views, of course, has steadily increased from 2016 with a 162% increase from 2016 to 2020. And we see similar upward curves on our social medias, which of course are also very important tools for this type of distribution of information, including Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And for example, on Twitter, we've had a plus 420% increase. And on YouTube, a 3,600% increase. And that's really thanks to, a big thanks to the digitalization, if you will, of a lot of the training activities. We just heard from Fabrice, and this conference is also a great example of that. It's all online, it's all on YouTube, it's all on Twitter and our web portal. So that also boosts our numbers greatly and increases this online interaction. So let's take a look at our new web portal that we have just launched yesterday. With all these ideas in mind on like how we want to touch different markets, how we want to better explain our work, talk to our users, we have developed a new web portal, and we consider it an evolving space for an evolving service. So that means we try and tailor it and change it and evolve as the service evolves. So this release is in a three-step approach. So we did our first release of the new website, which was really designed to homogenize with other Copernicus services. So there's a more seamless use of and viewing of data across the different services, which is an initiative piloted by the Copernicus program. We are making all sorts of new updates and improvements, which you will see in phase 2 and 3 in the coming months. So let's take a look at kind of the polls of our website, which really reflect sort of the polls of our service. So for starters, we have our new services landing page. Now, services go far beyond access to data. I'll let our other colleagues today have talked, and yesterday and tomorrow, we'll talk plenty about access to data. So I won't touch too much on that, but that's of course our one of our main polls. Our second one is services, of course, which is much wider than just ocean data. This is where we try, as I mentioned before, to translate, package, and distribute this information through a wide variety of tools. So you see, we have our blue markets, which there's 12 markets where we try and reach, for example, policymakers, marine food, polar environment, etc. We have our wide range of use cases, our user learning services, which of course Fabrice just touched on, and which is really taking off in a new space online, in a new environment with our changes with COVID, of course. Some information on how this is a user-driven service. So there are mechanisms in place to improve the service and to improve the deployment of this service online. Some of our other main tools are news. We'll get into that in a minute. Of course, events. Used to be more in person, now it's more online. The availability of resources online. And our growing sort of ocean literacy and public awareness information, which you can see on our new pages on public policy, marine pollution, societal awareness, and of course the Blue Book, which was launched last year. So let's move on. So our news editorial calendar has increased by about 50% since 2016. So this is something that we've identified as a major priority and worked to grow. And you can see that through the launch of our newsletter in 2019, which I hope you are all subscribed to. And if you're not, please visit our website, look at the footer and subscribe. So I touched a little bit on our ocean literacy and policy tools. We have, of course, the Ocean State Report, which is and we had a summary, which is designed to touch those non-technical users and consumers of information that would not look at the full scientific report. And we have videos, tweets, articles next to it. We have information on how our service develops, supports public policies done by a young woman here at Mercator Ocean who has many different projects in ocean literacy, and we have multiple people working on such projects. Also, plastic pollution. How can we better delve into understanding plastic pollution? And of course, our e-learning materials portal on the website. I won't go too much into that because, of course, Fabardines just gave us a really wonderful rundown. Also, I don't know if you've checked out our ocean monitoring indicators interface, a new and improved way of looking at this, which really reflects our desire and work to better present and offer more intuitive ways to look at our data, both through viewers and through, for example, this ocean monitoring indicators interface. So this is all something that we're working on improving constantly. And the launch of our product quality dashboard, which of course Marie Revillon will talk about later, so I won't touch too much on that. And the user corner, which David and Cedric and Lemanche have talked about. So I won't go into that, but as you can see on our portal, that is a major poll where users can come to become users and become experts. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a video. Just a couple minutes because it looks like my presentation is almost finished, to show you how different ways we can interact with data through things like video. So take a look at this, which is created using our NetCDF data across a variety of variables.
Gracian, can you put up the sound?
Put up the sound? It's not working for you?
No.
Oh, I'm afraid the sound.
Okay.
I can get
Stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Share your screen again. And you have a tick box on the right bottom side. Share the computer screen. Sound.
So for this video, this is a video that had been done before. It's called Les Ronds du Océan, or Around the Ocean. It had been done before quite some years back with Fabardines and Marcel, and this year we also worked on it together to include new variables, including some of the green ocean variables like Like to watch the full video, I encourage you to check out our YouTube channel where you can find it and lots of other videos. All right, I'll go ahead and leave it at that. I believe my presentation is over. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Gracian. Thank you all for these very nice presentations. Now we can move to the question and answer session. Well, Gracian and Fabrice, a question: have you identified a clear relationship between the training and outreach and communication activities and the impact in the data usage?
Fabrice, would you like to take this, or would you like me to? Well, I'll go ahead and start by saying that we're certainly seeing thanks to our marketing team, who works tirelessly to make sure that these trainings are distributed through social media, through mailing, through direct contact with different organizations and identifying organizations that need them. And so that's really the part with digital communications. And we've seen a really big uptake thanks to that. So yes, there is certainly a direct link between the marketing and communications activities and training.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, and to complete what Gracian said, during the training workshops, we try to propose tutorials or exercise dedicated for beginners. And sometimes people who are working on communication side are not scientists, and they want to understand and to use quickly our products, and to have a powerful tool like a MyOcean Viewer. It's very helpful in this kind of activity.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the MyOcean Viewer, Guillermo, can we find these specialties on Wikio, and moreover, are data fetched on the fly or are they pre-calculated on this tool?
Okay, answering the second question, data are fetched on the fly. So this is always the most up-to-date data available in the CMEMS servers, and the plots are made for you at that moment, the moment you request it. And about Wikio, Wikio also has a viewer that allows you to visualize many different kinds of data, including sentinel imagery. But on the other side, it doesn't have this graphing functionality. So but both viewers are evolving.
Okay. Question to David. You have been presenting a demo. Will there be a demo using other products than Panoply to handle the NetCDF files?
Thank you for the question. And yes, of course, I was planning actually to show quickly with the graphical user interface written in Python, and with a dedicated toolbox that we are currently developing, but the time was missing. However, I encourage all of the people who are interested in, how could I say, stay tuned, because we're going to provide a webinar by the end of Q1 2021. And we will, of course, go through all the different tools that are available on the market to manipulate the NetCDF file and other file format, such as CSV, JSON, GeoJSON, and others. And of course, we will take also the opportunity to show the new website from their web application for the Copernicus Marine Data Store. So it will be a mix of these 3 points for the next webinar that we will plan, and we will, if you subscribe to the newsletter or if you fetch the Twitter account feed, you will get the information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And regarding the training activities, this can be a question for David or for Fabrice. Online activities, is there any plan to offer in-house, means dedicated training activities for private users or universities by request? And what about launching mentoring schemes?
We have some plans for the next of Copernicus Marine Service to develop a sort of group of training ambassadors in order to answer this kind of request of private training. But in the context today, it's complicated because you need to train the trainers and to and it can be very time-consuming to answer to all the requests. But for the different communities, for private companies in certain domain or universities, we would like to offer training workshops dedicated for this kind of communities or regarding the different areas of benefits. So it can be for the EU policies by the end of this year or the business intelligence. So yes, I think the future of the training activity for the Copernicus phase 2, or the next phase, will be to perhaps evolve from a massive training activity to a specific training activity. But we need more time and more resources to do that. So we need to organize all these ideas before to start and to build this offer.
Okay, thank you. Another question, it's more about the user experience and particularly the user registration process. And do you have any feedback on this process? Cedric?
Yes, we had, because yes, we know that the registration is quite heavy and a lot of information, but actions are in progress to simplify it. And it will be the case at the end of this quarter, but the form will be simpler.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I think we don't have any more questions during this session. So anyway, if any question will be raised, it will be answered.
Yes, Michel, Cedric is speaking. There was a question about the chat, when the chat is open.
Yeah.
The chat is open during working hours, French time, so from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So we'll be happy to answer you using this means.
Okay. Oh, there is a question also regarding the future projection on wave directions, wave height, and wave periods. So these projections will be included in the next services. So thank you all. This session is now over. There will be a coffee break, but I will first leave the floor to Angelique, who will present you the next session regarding service evolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Michel. Yes, so we have a coffee break, and then you have the second interactive session of the General Assembly. So it will be dealing with Service Evolution project, Edge 2020 project. And I will give you a very quick tour if you missed it yesterday. So I'm going to share my screen and go here. All right. So hopefully you can see my screen now. And I'm sharing the screen of the General Assembly. So if you click on visit the fair, you should come to this page. And the next interactive session, so starting in like a quarter, 15 minutes. So you can click on Hall B for Service Evolution and Edge 2020 project. You see that we have, I think, 24 projects, 24 booths that are filled with information for you. So if I choose one, like a wizard, you can see here a slider, so giving you some key information on the project if you don't know it yet. So that should inform you if this project is of interest to you. Then here on the main screen, you can start a pre-recorded presentation of the project. For most of the booth, it's a pre-recorded presentation. For some of them, a few of them, it's a PDF presentation. So you can launch it and look at it.
Hello, everyone.
In full screen if you want. What else? You can click on this totem here or on the Service Evolution macaron here. That will lead you to a page with information on the project, main impacts, things like that. And otherwise, you can get general information here on the project, description, a sector of the project. You can get some documents. So for instance, here you can download the presentation. You can have access to a scientific publication from this project. And of course, importantly, you can click on the contact and get to meet the people that are behind the project. They are waiting for you if you want to interact with them, either through Visio, so don't hesitate to use that. They will be here anyway, so you could make it more fun for them and interact with them, and you can direct message them as well. And I think that's all you have to know. It's quite easy to navigate through the booth, and you can go to other booths by clicking this button, for instance, or you can go back to the main hall for this interactive session. I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes. Michel, if I may. Hello, I am the host of the event, Vincent Legros. Just for the next session, so this Zoom link will end soon, and there will be another link, okay, for the next session, which will be at 2 p.m. 6 years of users uptake and engagement. So don't forget to come back to the conference room and click on this link at 2 p.m. Thank you very much.